Hey folks, it's Nick Granville. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hey, today I thought I'd talk about arpeggios, right? Or arpeggios as Americans would say. There's so much emphasis on guitar put on scales, but I actually think arpeggios are more useful. So let's kind of get into that today, right? If we think about it, like if I'm in the key of C major, then if we think about it, right, I play a C major scale and would be most people's first choice over that chord, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? But if you think about it, C against the C chord, well, that works. D works, E works, F doesn't, right? It's kind of clashy in there, right? It's not a great note against that. You can use it as a passing note, sure. The fifth, well, we know that works, but it's a little power chordish, but it's okay. The sixth works. The seventh definitely works, but depending on register, not necessarily, right? If I put it down the bottom, it doesn't really work down low, does it? It's got to be up there, right? So we've already identified two notes that are kind of suspect depending on where and how you use them. Right, but if we think about an arpeggio over that chord, 1, 3, 5, 7. All of those notes work. The root note's going to work, the third's going to work, the fifth's going to work, and the seventh's going to work. They're all good colours. The seventh, like I said, you've got to be careful about, but even then it's part of an arpeggio, so it's better. And if we think about the next chord we could be looking at, would be logically be a minor chord, wouldn't it? So C minor 7, most people are going to think Dorian. There's less clashy notes in that because, you know, the fourth definitely works really well against chords. But the arpeggio, again, it just spells it out. Or up to the ninth. And I remember taking a lesson with Mike Knock, a really fantastic piano player currently lives in Australia. He's actually a Kiwi from New Zealand, but he lived in New York for a long time, played with Cannonball Adderley. John Scofield was in his band. That's the sort of legend that Mike Knock is. And so I remember taking a lesson with him, and he said to me that all scales, chords, all this stuff can fit into three categories. And that was major, minor, and dominant, right? Everything can kind of fit into that into some degree. Would be your major shape, 1 octave. Your minor shape, flat in the third, flat in the seventh. But that's kind of trickier than doing that, so I always play it there. So now we have major, minor, and then dominant, 1, 3, 5, flat, 7. Of course, we can play these anywhere we want. Anywhere we want. Now, they're all going to look the same except for when you play the B string, because of that third interval there instead of a fourth, right? But roughly, it's going to look like this most of the time. And that makes it easier. The thing with playing guitar is a lot of times we have multiple positions for everything, and that makes things confusing. Say I did C major like this, and then up here I did it like that. Well, why have two shapes? Why not just have one? Make life easier, right? So that would be where I'd put my focus. And then if I said to you, for example, the chord's going to be a C major 7 sharp 5, like this, right? Great sound. That kind of sound, right? So I said to you the chord was going to be dominant 7 flat 5. You take your dominant shape and you flatten the 5. Now I'd love to tell you that I just did that off the top of my head, but this is just a whole lot of stuff that I've worked on for a while, right? And then once you've got those down, right, and you know where your fifths are to adjust them, you know where your ninths are, all that kind of stuff. The next step is just put them into tunes, right? So take a simple tune like, say, Autumn Leaves. these chord changes, right? And go. Right, that's just up. I could also go up and down. That gives us 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is change running. Right, and that, to me, that's more useful than scales most of the time. Now, scales are useful, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is that this is a more useful thing to put your time into, right? Because it spells chord changes. And the thing is, if you do this kind of stuff, you don't have to have the chords underneath you for it to make sense, right? I'll play Autumn Leaves. Hopefully you'll be able to hear all the chord changes through that, right? I didn't play a single chord just then. I just played melodic ideas based on those arpeggios, right? But it's a powerful sound, isn't it? Now, a lot of people think this is limited to jazz. It's not. You can totally do this in a rock setting. Gig this weekend, we're playing I'm Every Woman, right? Which is like an F minor thing. Sort of thing. But I could look at those chord changes too, right? F minor, C minor, G minor, F minor, F minor over B flat, C minor, right? So you can see I can kind of work on playing those chord changes in terms of being able to spell the chord changes. And then when it comes to the gig, if a solo gets thrown my way, I'm more armed with things that I can use. Hey look, if you found this useful, please like and subscribe. I post twice a week on here, a weekday video, a weekend video, and I also do live stream every week and then some shorts in between. Yeah, like I said, if you found it useful, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.